Welcome everybody to this DataCite Membership Essentials webinar. My name is Maria Levchenko. I am DataCite Community Specialist and your host for today. I'm joining from the United Kingdom. Some of you might be familiar with my colleague, Mohammed Mustafa, also a DataCite Community Specialist based in the United Arab Emirates, and I'm joined by a few other colleagues here today. So throughout this webinar, first, I'll take a moment to introduce you to DataCite as an organization, as well as our community and services. We'll go through the DataCite membership model, and then we'll wrap up with an open Q&A part. Please put any questions you might have into the Q&A box, and we'll get to them at the end. So first, let me introduce you to DataCite and who we are, what we do, and why this matters. Our mission is connecting research and advancing knowledge. And as such, our vision for the future is developing a trusted metadata foundation for open research, which is built by, for, and with the input from the global community. From our perspective, the reason for DataCite to exist is that research goes beyond just publications, and various research outputs deserve to be recognized as valid and important and impactful parts of research dissemination. Our infrastructure is there to make all of these outputs, resources, and activities more visible and more impactful. And the DataCite community came together over 15 years ago now to make this infrastructure more powerful as a joint effort. We are a service provider and an open infrastructure provider, but more than that, we are a community partner. We really are in this together with our members, and we're building this infrastructure jointly with many other organizations in the space. As a nonprofit and a membership organization, we are governed and guided by our members who provide valuable input into our strategy and policies. We are established as a foundational and global resource. Our infrastructure and metadata are accessible worldwide. And we are a leader and collaborator in advancing open research in that we work together with many other organizations in this space, including other persistent identifier agencies like ORCID and ROAR, but also many other service providers, platforms, and organizations that work to make research truly open. Our community of organizations that are members and users and otherwise participate in DataCite is truly global. We have over 1,700 members. This counts not only research and higher education institutions, but also libraries, museums, and even government agencies. We have representation in over 70 countries worldwide, and together our incredible community of members have registered over 125 million research outputs. But what does this mean in the sense of DataCite membership model? How can you join? Why should you join? And how does this support your organizational mission? For context, I want to stress that as an open infrastructure provider, DataCite makes metadata and tools to retrieve this metadata freely and openly available to anyone. You do not need to be DataCite member to take advantage of the open data that we host for everyone to access. However, membership allows you to gain access to specialized services and participate in our governance. And I'll cover a little bit more about types of services you can expect as a member. As a community-based nonprofit organization, our membership model supports collective stewardship and, as such, long-term sustainability of this shared open research infrastructure. So what we want to build is this sense of joint ownership amongst our members in their investment in the open infrastructure for everyone. So who should join DataCite? If you wish to register DOIs and metadata for any of your research outputs to make them more open and discoverable, this is definitely something that we encourage you to explore. We believe that any organization that creates research outputs would really benefit from joining DataCite to create persistent identifiers and rich metadata for those activities. You can also join DataCite if you're interested in harvesting DataCite metadata to have access to our personalized support. And you can also decide to support our mission and infrastructure financially and join us as a supporting member. We offer flexible options both for individual and group or consortium memberships, and we welcome both nonprofit and for-profit organizations to our community. So why should you join? Joining DataCite as a member and registering DOIs for your outputs increases their impact and makes them more open, visible, and fair. It helps you align with funder requirements and open access policies, as well as enabling open science at the institutional or even national level. For instance, registering DataCite DOIs supports UNESCO recommendations on open science. You can also participate in communities of practice by joining the DataCite community of members and direct our strategy and policy at a higher level. And finally, as a DataCite member, you support shared open infrastructure for everyone, not just DataCite members, but the wider scholarly community. Why specifically DataCite? We, from the get-go, were designed for and by research organizations. We offer a home for all of your outputs, resources, and activities, from publications and preprints to data, images, models, instruments, software, and many other options. We provide flexible membership pathways, and I'll talk a little bit more about options there as well. Our pricing is simple, transparent, and predictable. There are no fees based on DOI volume for a majority of our members, and I'll talk a bit more about the fee model later on. Our users can access easy and robust tools, not only for DOI registration, but also for metadata retrieval, as well as reporting and tracking of impact and usage of your outputs. DataCite is well integrated across the research landscape. I've mentioned our integration with ORCID and ROAR, but we also work closely with other service providers, for example, with many repository software platforms and publishing platforms to really support the entire workflow from DOI registration to making your outputs visible and discoverable. I wanted to highlight some specific membership benefits. I've spoken about tools. Our DOI registration tools are really easy to use, and we offer a multitude of options, from the API for custom integrations to a manual registration web form in Fabrica, as well as existing integrations with service provider platforms like OGS, Dataverse, DSpace, and many others. You receive API credentials for retrieving and harvesting metadata and data files. You can access reporting and insights tool for monitoring metadata, tracking citations, and analyzing activities. You get to participate in DataCite governance and join our executive board, serve on community and working groups, and engage with other like-minded organizations. Finally, we also offer fast and personalized support from what I hope are friendly and helpful humans. We do have a dedicated support team, and they answer any inquiries from our members and really look into specific use cases and specific issues for you. We also have a very comprehensive support site, as well as a multitude of training options, and I'm sure we can share a link to those in the chat as well, so that you can really get the most out of DataCite services. So what is it like to join us as a member? I want to highlight what a DataCite metadata journey looks like from the moment that you register a DOI for the output and what it means downstream. So when research organizations provide metadata to DataCite, when they register DOIs for their outputs, we process this metadata and establish connections across outputs, for example, through citations between datasets, publications, software, and others, but also to authors, affiliations, funders, using persistent identifiers. This metadata is made openly available under CC0 license for reuse, and as such can be discovered and harvested by various systems to integrate, track, and analyze. We offer tools to make sure that your metadata is as complete as possible and enhance metadata quality where gaps may occur so that you can get the most out of your DataCite membership. We work together with multiple scholarly search engines and harvester platforms to make sure that the research with DataCite UIs has global discoverability. We have a very comprehensive standard schema to represent relationships between outputs, people, and institutions, as I mentioned before. And what this means is you can examine research in context. Here on the slide, there are screenshots from DataCite Common, where you can see connections between project, journal articles, output management plans, data sets, all of the different outputs that arise from it. You can also monitor how outputs are viewed, downloaded, and cited with services like DataCite Commons and DataCite Usage Tracker. And we connect research with funding information, which can then be queried through DataCite Commons and DataCite API to support organizational reporting for both institutions and funders. But don't just take it from me. Our community shares their experience with being a member of DataCite and, for example, ensuring that contributions from the Global South are visible, accessible, and valued, or that there is a practical and affordable path for libraries and institutions to implement PIDs, as well as providing persistent and reliable access to research data, publications, and other scholarly outputs. So, if you decided to join DataCite, what would that look like? Our membership process relies on community oversight. All prospective members are reviewed by the DataCite board to ensure mission alignment. Once you submit a brief application, it is reviewed within 1 week, and your account is activated immediately upon approval. We work with each prospective member individually to ensure that we address any specific needs or requests that you have. And we offer tailored onboarding and later check-in sessions to help you get started and get the most of your membership. In terms of pathways to join DataCite, there are 2 primary ways. Our individual organizations can join DataCite as an institutional member to use our infrastructure and services, shape our governance, and contribute to our sustainability. Organizations can also establish or join a consortium to collectively participate in DataCite community and services. Consortium membership is particularly helpful because it reduces financial barriers to participation and encourages adoption. So this is a great option in cases where institutional membership may not be the best way. So I want to take a moment to explain how our membership fee model came to be and the principles behind it. For us, it was really important to establish equitable and sustainable approach to collective funding of shared and open infrastructure. And for us, this means that fees are based on services, not data, especially as we align with POSI principles for open infrastructure. We wanted to create a straightforward, transparent, predictable structure, and the membership fees were approved by our DataCite members and executive board to ensure community-governed pricing. Our fee model consists of a single annual fee, which is based on membership type and country. It includes an annual membership fee for participation in DataCite community, as well as a shared open infrastructure fee for those members that are using DOI registration services. The infrastructure fee is based on World Bank economic data for different countries. And the infrastructure fee as such covers over 100,000 covers 100,000 new DOI registrations each year. The reason for this is to incentivize more outputs and activities registered with DataCite and to remove complexities and difficulty of volume-based pricing. So here is an example of what that looks like in practice. An institutional direct member, which is joining DataCite directly to register DOIs, would expect an annual membership fee of 2,000 euros, as well as a shared infrastructure fee, which is set between 200 and 700 euros based on the organization country. Consortium members are leading a national or regional or service-based consortium, and they pay a membership fee of 2,000 euros on behalf of the entire consortium. If the consortium member is also using the infrastructure services, they can expect a similar shared infrastructure fee, as I mentioned before. In contrast to that, a consortium organization, which is joining an existing consortium, will not be paying any membership fee because, as I mentioned, it is covered at the consortium member level, but they will be paying a shared infrastructure fee. And then a supporting member, which is a type of institutional member, is joining us to support DataCite mission, and they're not paying any shared infrastructure fees as they're not using the services and only participate through a membership fee. So what can you do next? If you are ready to get started with DataCite membership, please submit your membership inquiry either through our website or directly to our membership address, and we'll discuss with you next steps. You can also ask us for a test account to trial out what the DOI registration process looks like. And you can use the fee estimator and also look up infrastructure fees by country using the links here on the slide and in the chat. You can get involved and learn more. You can sign up for our community newsletter, check out upcoming community events, look through use case examples on our blog, and access our materials and presentations. And finally, we look forward to partnering with you. I wanted to share some points, around your takeaways from this session, what you might hope to achieve with DataCite membership, what other topics you would want covered. So we can discuss that in the Q&A. And please add any other questions that you might have to the Q&A box as well. And with that, I'm really grateful for your attention, and we can jump straight into discussion. I'll come back to this slide just to have an option and see any points. I don't believe there are any open questions just yet, but if you have any insights to share around your takeaways from the session or anything around DataCite membership model and fee model, please put them in the Q&A. I believe we have a little bit of extra time, but I don't think there are any questions in the chat just yet. I'm curious to see if there are already some of our members joining today. Please share where you're based and if you have any specific questions to us. So we got one question about the differences between consortium members and consortium organizations. That's an excellent question, and I don't believe that I've covered that in full. So when a DataCite consortium is established, it is led by a consortium member with consortium organizations joining the group. Consortium member consortium lead represents these organizations and is directly participating in DataCite governance, voting, running for DataCite executive board, and so on. And the consortium organizations are then represented by their lead. The membership fee is paid by the consortium member, not by the consortium organizations. And also in terms of support, so for consortia, their consortium member or consortium lead is the first line of technical support for any questions, and then the consortium lead is supported directly by the DataCite team. So hopefully these are some more specific examples. But do ask if you have any other to this. So we have another question from Edward that asks to explain about the shareable infrastructure that's available to members. So as such, members can access DOI registration services and associated infrastructure and tools that I've covered, including DataCite Commons, DataCite API, reporting and tracking tools. So the part that is specific to members is the DOI registration pathway. So you will have your membership credentials that you can use to register DOIs through one of the options, either DataCite API, DataCite Fabrica as a web interface option, or through one of the service providers that we work with. And then other services are also available to non-members. But again, in some cases, members receive more specialized support from us, including onboarding, training, and responding to any of the technical queries that you might have. There are tools like metadata dashboards that members can use to monitor quality, as I mentioned, of their metadata and ensure discoverability of their outputs. But I think these are the main points. We have a question from Ashley about changing membership in DOI registration agency and the process for prefix transfer. So this is something that is established, and we have some members that are changing their DOI registration agency to join DataCite. The existing DOIs are then moved and are accumulated under the new prefix. So if this is something you're interested in, we're more than happy to follow up and explain the process in more detail. Thank you for your questions so far. I'm happy to see if there are any other questions at the moment. And just while we wait, if you have any other perspectives to share and your key takeaways from the session, please feel free to add them to the Q&A as well, and we can discuss those as a group. All right, I'm not seeing any new questions. We are very happy to have you with us today. If you have any specific inquiries for your organization to join DataCite or to learn more about the model and pathways to become a DataCite member, please reach out to us via membership@datacite.org, and we'll be happy to take it on. But I am grateful for your attention today, and I hope you have a lovely day ahead of you wherever you're based. So thank you, and we can pause here then.